And a very good Thursday morning to you, Grenada, and the rest of the world. Hey, folks, today happens to be the 27th day of June, and we're thankful to be alive. Good to see you, folks. Thanks for joining us for today's edition of Gudday Grenada. This morning, we're going to do what we seem to have been doing for the past couple of weeks, which is shifting things around a little bit to accommodate that busy, retired businessman, Mr. Allan Bierzynski. Yeah, Allan's going to be joining us just after we do the first few minutes of our program. And during that time, while we're the first few minutes of the program, we're going to be talking about the fact that the hurricane season is here, and I'm going to keep reminding you, pilgrims, I'm not going to get caught forgetting to keep that at the forefront of your thoughts. For those of you who live here in the city of St. George, over the past couple of days, you've probably heard sirens running around and da. Yeah, a lot of that has to do with a hurricane exercise which has been underway for the past couple of days and ends today. So we'll tell you a bit about that. And yesterday I stopped off at a friend to get some doubles down there on the foot of Lucas Street. And we were talking about the fact that apparently for the last maybe about a year or so, I know I've been complaining about it. You hear sirens, sirens, sirens. And I remember saying to myself, I probably said this on the air here as well, this place is becoming like New York. You know, constantly you hear, well, yesterday, while we were actually talking down there, the same thing happened. And I thought it was just me. But when I spoke with him, he said, George, I was away last year, a little over a year ago. And when I came back, I couldn't help but notice just how many sirens and how frequently, I mean all day long, morning, noon, and night. You're hearing sirens running around in this place. And he couldn't understand why. And I don't know. I started speculating, I know that over the past little while we have received some new ambulances. And it seems like 99% of the time when you hear these sirens, they are ambulances. And we attributed that to the fact that, well, now they've got these ambulances, they're going to make use of those sirens. So it doesn't always mean that it's somebody being taken to a hospital or sirens racing, an ambulance is racing to the scene of an accident. Not necessarily. As is the case today, you will hear them. And that has to do with an exercise which is currently underway. I'll tell you about that in a minute. And then, we've been talking quite a bit. In fact, as recently as yesterday, you heard about the Grenlec case against the government of Grenada, which is now at exit, in the hands of exit. And the case, apparently, the hearing ended last week, and now they're waiting on the decision or judgment to be handed down, and they're saying that could take up to a couple of months. So we'll just brief you. The government actually put out a release yesterday, and I'll share that with you. Then we do have the national report, and then Mr. Bierzynski. Well, Mr. Bierzynski is actually going to come before the national report this morning. So let's start here with this note from the RGPF, okay? They are currently conducting a simulation exercise under the pseudonym Tropical Storm Angel Eyes to test the force's preparedness for the 2019 Atlantic hurricane season. The exercise, which began on Tuesday, will end today with 2 mock incidents. One's going to take place down on River Road, and the other right here in the neighborhood. That's on Woolwich Road. You're being urged not to panic when you receive information relating to the exercise or notice the movements of emergency response teams within the 2 areas stated above between 12 o'clock midday and 4 o'clock this afternoon. All right? So that's just an exercise. Don't go panicking. Simulation exercise, Tropical Storm Angel Eyes, is aimed at according members of the RGPF the opportunity to further enhance their response and to understand their respective roles while responding to emergency situations. All right? So, that's why you're going to be hearing sirens this afternoon. So that's the first thing we wanted to cover this morning. Hey, hang on there, guys. Hang on. Let's get to the arbitration issue. A 1-week arbitration hearing between the government of Grenada and WRB and GPP, and GPP, by the way, is Grenlec's 50% shareholder, took place last weekend at the ICSID Hearing Center in Washington, D.C. The arbitration concerned WRB and GPP's repurchase demand for their Grenlec shares. Public Utilities Minister Gregory Bowen attended on behalf of the government and was the main witness, together with Mr. Chester Palmer and Mr. John O'Geist. They were all at the hearing. The team was accompanied by Sir Lawrence Joseph, former Attorney General and consultant to the government of Grenada. Valuation experts from PricewaterhouseCoopers and the Brattle, B-R-A-T-T-L-E, the Brattle Group, also appeared on behalf of the government. Government was represented at the hearing by Debevoise, that's D-E-B-E-V-O-I-S, I'm assuming that's the way you pronounce it, Debevoise and Plimpton, LLP, with support provided by Grenadian Council, Sion and Associates. No date has been set for the handing down of the award, but this is expected to take place within a couple of months. All right? We're going to be keeping a close eye on that. I'm sure that those of you who visit the GrenadaBroadcast.com website have noticed that over the past couple of weeks, there have been a couple of stories posted there under the NDC Heartbeat, penned by Claudette Joseph, an attorney. I think she's following this more closely than anybody else in this country. And if you haven't done so, go on back, take a look at the website. It's all there. Let me see who did and who did. Oh, hello. Good morning, Anthea. You're early again, Anthea. Good to see you. Ryan Jaban saying good morning. Kipling sending his blessings. Veronica Sandy is saying, good morning, George, from beautiful Grenada. Oh, aren't we beautiful? Girl, you got it right on the money. We are. Mags is saying, good morning, everyone. Ryan can't wait, man. He says he loves Allan's dry humor. I'm going to tell him you said he had dry humor. Yeah. The guy says and does things with a straight face. I just love it. And Sharon is saying, good morning. Ryan says, doubles at the bottom of Lucas Street? What's the name of the joint? These sirens will drive you balmy. The place doesn't have a name, not that I know of. I know that the girl who works there, her name is Jenny. But it's a really neat little place. Right next to Bristol and Bristol, Henry and Bristol, or the law firm, right next to them. And Benedict is saying, thriving Thursday, everyone. John Bruno saying good morning, George Grant and friends. Pele Darbo is there. And Kipling Francis. Kipling says, it's good to know that the man who is responsible for the problem was at the hearing. He's talking about the arbitration hearing, which took place last week in Washington. And like I mentioned, you should have the results very shortly. Now, I see that he is already showing up there. So I'm going to take our first little break here, and we're going to hook him up, Mr. Bierzynski, who is coming ahead of yesterday's edition of the National Report.
This summer, make your dreams a reality with a Co-op Bank Summer Sizzle Loan. Get up to $20,000 and qualify for a chance to win a staycation at Silver Sands. Go on a vacation. Enjoy the carnival season. Have your dream wedding or make home improvements. Make this summer sizzle with everything you want it to be. Visit your nearest retail banking unit for more details. Special terms and conditions apply. Welcome home.
Conveniently located in the Grandand Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grenadans will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you hear something going thumpity, 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 thump, it's moi, my heart. The reason being, a little while ago when I was talking to you, I saw Mr. B pop up on my Mac monitor here. And then he disappeared, but here, he's back. You know, I'm assuming that he's here. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, now, I'll tell you, I've known this guy for a long time, and I can't tell you of anybody else I know of who has as many T-shirts as this character has. He has a collection of T-shirts that will actually floor you. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, just hello there, phone call, you're going to have to wait, whoever you are. I do thank you for calling, but you're going to have to call back. So yeah, just let me bring Mr. B up. Take a look. See him there? How are things this morning, Mr. B?
Things are very good. We had some nice overnight showers, and so far it's holding off. So I was able to get some laundry on my solar dryer outside.
Oh, I see. All right.
You know what a solar dryer is?
The line across your veranda?
No,
Yeah.
no, 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 veranda. Come on, man. No, no, the line at the back of the house.
The
The
line at the
closed
back
line.
of the house. Is it one of those pulleys like we had in the old days?
No, 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 no. That's for people who live in upstairs. I actually could go outside and walk barefoot in the grass,
Oh, I
and
see.
see if I could avoid getting jigger.
Do you have sandflies up there, B?
Yes.
You
Why
know,
are they bothering you?
no, no, we don't have any down here, but they were my nemesis as a child growing up. And Alan, these things used to drive me crazy. You know, they're so hard to see, man. But let me tell you, they hurt. They hurt. An itch.
Yeah, yeah, they do. You knew something called Bet Rouge?
Betouche. Yeah.
Bet Rouge, Bet Rouge. Yeah,
Excuse. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Bet Rouge.
yeah. It's actually from patois or French. Bet Rouge, red beast.
That's right.
Pronounced Bet Rouge.
I never heard the rouge part. I grew up hearing Betouche.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
But come on, come on. We grew up within a few miles of each other.
You grew up in Grenville? You grew up in Grenville?
Well, growing up is stretching it. I left at the age of 5.
You left Grenville at the age of 5. Now, I was there from the age of 2 weeks until I was about 12.
Which hospital were you born in?
Right down here, the Colony Hospital.
Ah, no, no, no. Well, I have more of a claim to fame than you. I was born at the Princess Alice Hospital.
Ah, okay, okay. That's not. Boy, I've made a lot of visits there because of my asthma as a child growing up. A lot of visits there. Yeah. So,
Anyhow,
hold on. Before you start ranting here, Walk for the Cure. Is that the fun walk?
yeah, yeah. It's First Caribbean has been sponsoring this for a number of years. So the reason I have so many T-shirts is because if you participate, you get a T-shirt. Well, I mean, you pay for it, but nevertheless.
So you
So in fact, since I have the T-shirt, I might as well wear it.
absolutely. And where else but on this program? Listen, man. I have a collection of T-shirts too, like you wouldn't believe. And listen, I am not at all ashamed to say I ain't buy one of them. These are all T-shirts that people give to me. Yeah. So, what's up your sleep? By the way, I'm going to keep you for at least another 25 minutes. You're early, but we're going to milk you this morning. What's up your sleeve this morning, sir?
You remember we were off last Thursday because of a religious feast day,
Yes, sir.
Corpus Christi. And I was thinking that as I was looking at the news on television, that we have this interesting situation where we have public holidays to observe the religious feast days, but at the same time, we are in the throes of getting ready for our carnival season, where we celebrate drunkenness and bacchanal. And carnival is supposed to be a farewell to the ways of the flesh as we go into the Lenten season, but we've long forgotten all of that.
Yeah, man.
And so it is merely an opportunity for the commercialization of our culture. As we can see, the culture is getting a lot of support. We've seen green passports being handed out, as we used to say, pecamel,
Yeah.
to all of these cultural ambassadors. So it begs the question, if we are on the one hand recognizing our jab jab culture and celebrating it, and in fact we want jab jab on the tombstone, which I have no objection to at all, I must say, but it does make things rather difficult for those amongst us who want to continue to promote the idea that this is a Christian nation and that we ought to be God-fearing. Now, the issue of God-fearing is another matter, because I don't understand, if we have a loving God, why should we not love God rather than fear God? And so we have this difficulty not just between the culture and religion, but in the religion itself. We have this schism between those who fear God and those who love God. And I don't know that it is helping us going forward in resolving the issues that divide us. Why shouldn't we all love God and follow the precepts of the Master? I don't know the answer to that. I wonder if anybody does. But one thing is for sure, that the planting season having started, as officially recognized by Corpus Christi, we are now full swing into the complete opposite of spirituality as we begin to embrace spirituousness, and this will continue until the second weekend in August.
Spirituousness?
Eh?
Spirituousness?
Yes, that is to do with the imbibing of spirits.
What about spirituality?
Well, that has to do with the spiritual and the spirituality. Fine, by all means. But I'm saying that we have abandoned this once Corpus Christi has been put behind us.
Well, let me tell you something.
We are now embracing the imbibing of spirits, wholesale.
Consider yourself lucky if Margaret doesn't take you up on this spirituousness, okay? Consider yourself lucky. Go ahead, sir.
No. I have no objection being taken up, because what I am trying to do is observe the facts and the statistics, because we know that the purveyors of distilled spirits and brewed spirits are ramping up production as they are ramping up their promotional activities. So we can look forward to a lot more spirituousness as a result of imbibing spirits, as opposed to spirituality, which has to do with, in my view, loving God rather than fearing God.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned Margaret. This is your correspondent who lives in New York?
Yep.
Well, I meant to start off by offering congratulations to Alice Nicholson on her campaign. While not eventually successful, but for a first timer demonstrates the possibilities of, in spite of the absence of material resources, that what one can actually do by making a connection with people. Perhaps lessons can be learned and transferred to our own environment, where perhaps we need to see more of the connecting with people as opposed to just the throwing money around. But that's for another time. We have a couple of years to go before that cycle resumes. But anyway, well done, Alice. And for those people who actually live in New York and know her, who have heard of her, or have met her, I think I'm sure she appreciates the support that she got in the community up there.
Yeah.
So where does that leave us down here now as we're getting ready? We have so many of these cultural ambassadors now. And it appears that there are people who are questioning whether or not this is genuinely our culture, or is it just the knee-jerk reaction that we've seen that fine, we've gone to Trinidad and we've done well on the Trinidad stage and we're going internationally. We have our soca artists all over the world. Wonderful for them. My question is, what does it do for our local economy? I'm sure there must be promoters who will immediately be able to answer. I just hope that the Inland Revenue will be looking carefully at those answers that they give. Because we need to make sure that everybody who is making money pays their fair share of taxes. I'm sure you've heard me on this topic in the past, that we give people too many exemptions, and those who can afford to pay tax very often are not the ones who are paying tax, while those who can't afford it have no choice. And those who expect to get services as a result of the taxes collected find themselves very severely disappointed.
Up a creek.
Can you be severely disappointed?
Yeah, that's
Or just
okay.
disappointed?
That's okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about the hospital again. I'm sure we can leave other people to do that. But naturally, because I find myself in charge of a two-wheeled motor conveyance from time to time, when I hit a pothole, it shakes every fiber and bone in my body. And I really would prefer to be able to use the public road, for which I am paying taxes, and an annual license and registration, and insurance. I prefer not to be trying to avoid potholes if the roadway is clear, or when the roadway is not clear, having to actually hit the pothole. It is a jarring experience. So, I have come to the end of my observations on this bright and sunny morning, George.
Well, hold on. You obviously, first of all, you sparked some interest in me because I want to talk to you about. Let's just stay with the carnival thing for a minute. You know, you talked about the focus being on carnival from here on. Alan, it is now what, 9:28. Within the last hour, a car drove by here on Woolwich Road with jab jab music. I mean, jab jab music, blasting at the top of the place. I was on the phone trying to talk to somebody, and I had to say, hold on a sec, because he slowly drove along here and made sure that he caused an interruption. At least I'm thankful that it's not happening now when I'm talking to you on the air, okay? But that's just an indication. Last night, yesterday I received a WhatsApp text inviting people to some, I don't remember the name of it, but it's a Wednesday night cruise that the Rum Runner is going to be doing. And they came in here at about midnight last night, man, pounding away. And I'm assuming that this is probably...
Hold a moment. In the interest of accuracy, I think both of us are aware of the fact that that particular vessel, the cruise was not organized by the owners.
That's right.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, yeah. No.
We wouldn't want.
But no, but I think
We want anybody to think that the owners of the vessel were being irresponsible.
No. But I think that that's something that people can expect could possibly be happening like every Wednesday night from now on. It's carnival, and you guys get what ticket?
and the reality is that a lot of promoters, many of them resident outside of Grenada, they have made bookings to have these cruises months in advance.
Yeah.
And I guess you can look forward to more entertainment.
Yes. And you know, one would have thought that after living up here for 5 years now, I would have gotten used to it. But you can't, man, because I guess it's because I'm elevated. The noise just flows out
Yeah.
unobstructed. Anyhow, that's one of the things I want to talk to you about. Have you noticed in every national report that the GIS puts out, they have a promo now for Carnival, all right? Spice Mass, all right? And I noticed that it seems like Pure Grenada is taking a backseat and being replaced by Jab Nation. This is what they're referring to this place as now, you know, the Jab Nation. Have you noticed that?
Well, yeah, this is what you call cognitive dissonance. Because you
Cognitive
have
dissonance.
one set of people promoting Pure Grenada, and then another set of people promoting Jab Nation. Well, which is it to be? Or are we going to draw a line such as they've done in St. Martin, where you have the French and Dutch halves? So maybe we could draw a line somewhere and say that we have Pure Grenada on one side and a Jab Nation on the other side. How about that?
Now, Mr. B, moments ago, you corrected me in the interest of full disclosure.
Accuracy.
Accuracy. Okay. Well, it's my turn now, sir. You say one set of people promoting Pure Grenada and the other side promoting Jab Nation. AB, from what I see, it's the same people promoting both the GIS and the Grenada Tourism Authority.
Yes, but that's not the same people. The tourism authority is a completely independently constituted authority with its own chief executive officer.
Is that
The,
so?
the government's information service is a creature of the Ministry of Information and the Prime Minister's office, is it not?
AB. You're in La La Land, Mr. Bierzynski. You're in La La Land, huh?
I'm being spirituous.
Magsy's being spirituous. By the way, Margaret said here a little while ago when we were talking about, she said, George, you like to start confusion, eh? When I said she was going to come after you. All right, another one. You mentioned the potholes. Yesterday, I decided, I have this little device here. It's a really neat little camera. Let me see if I can show this to you. For those of you who are into vlogging, this is called...
Is it?
Huh?
I was going to ask, is it a body cam?
No, it's not a body cam. It's a very high quality unit for vlogging, which a lot of people are doing nowadays, all right? It's called the Osmo Pocket. And yesterday, I decided to leave here and do a walk downtown. Instead of taking the bus, I decided to walk down Lucas Street. And I was using this and, you know, preparing something for Sunday. And Allan, somebody stopped me to talk about the potholes. You mentioned potholes a little while ago, and that's why I'm bringing this up. And I'll tell you, it is pathetic what's happening. Going down Market Hill, you know Market Hill.
I actually saw you at the top of Market Hill.
Pardon me?
I saw you at the top of Market Hill in your shorts.
Yesterday. Okay. Then you probably saw me speaking to a lady whom we both know quite well. Down Market Hill is falling apart. And she was pointing out to me, she says, George, just go up a little bit. Like if you walk up Church Street towards Cemetery Hill, right below Presentation College there, just after you pass the convent going up, the potholes, and that is one of the most traversed streets in Grenada.
Yeah, it's the exit out of St. George's.
Exactly.
So, particularly for traffic coming up St. John Street, they turn
Yes, sir.
left and
Yes,
up
sir.
and over,
Yes,
either down by the stadium or up over Old Fort to get back to Lucas Street. But have they effected the repairs, the at the entrance to the Presentation Brothers College. I don't know if a heavy vehicle broke the sidewalk and the drain there with the grate, but that was in need of repair just recently.
Well, I'm going to find that out a little later on today because I do intend to go back and capture some more of that image so people will understand, what we're talking about, and they don't think we're just bitching unnecessarily. Okay, I think those are the notes that I made. Now, let me turn to the people on Facebook here. Yeah, you were talking about the cultural ambassadors a little while ago.
Yeah.
Kipling Francis says, according to one minister, they will be responsible for growing the economy. Sadly, he did not say how. That's, boy, let me tell you, I like this guy. Kipling is, you think you're cynical? You two ought to sit down and have a face-to-face one of these days. This guy, Ryan says, Carnival embraces flesh and the carnal. Good point. God is love, and love is God. The Tivoli RC father pushed the fear thing as a boy. Grenadians drank spirits, which will make you see spirits. Ryan's rational.
That's Babash.
Yes, that's in Babash. Pele Darbo says, if we have a loving and forgiving God, why should he resurrect us on Resurrection Day and then cast us into a pit of fire? Let me hear you on that one. Tell Pele.
Listen. The difference is I went to GBSS and Pele went to Presentation Brothers. He is much more qualified to talk about spirituality. I will stay with the spirituous. Morning, Pele. How are you doing?
Margaret Francis says, Bernadette Nichols, the other Grenadian candidate running for the civil court, won her primary. She now goes on to the general election in November.
Oh, very good.
Okay. And by the way, we did have Alice on here, and it was actually during that conversation, I learned from Margaret that there was another Grenadian taking part.
Yeah, in a different district, yeah.
Margaret also says, but isn't Jab Jab a part of Grenadian culture? Is one superior to the other? Let me hear you, B. No, she picking a fight with you.
No, I'm missing something here. Is Jab Jab superior to which other part of culture? If it's all part of the same, I don't know that one is superior to any other. I don't know. Unless it is that maybe we're missing an opportunity here by saying it's a Jab Jab nation. We should be embracing the entirety of the culture as opposed to just the emphasis on Jab Jab. I don't know.
She says here, why can't both be promoted? I think what she's talking about here is, we were talking about pushing Pure Grenada on one hand and then the Jab Jab Nation on the other hand.
Well, as a practical matter, what I would like to see on Jove is that the Pure Grenada team should follow the Jab Jab team and clean up the remains.
Okay.
In particular, when they go to the beach to clean themselves.
Okay. Okay. Donna Joseph says, Mr. B, I like your analogy of the way you describe the GIS as a creature.
Yes, and sometimes the creators of these creatures lose control, not necessarily with good effects.
Okay. Benedict Cador says, my thoughts exactly. We should promote our culture or someone else will grab it and run with it. For example,
That sounds like the title of a soca tune.
no kidding. He says, for example, some Jamaicans are referring to Jamaica as the Isle of Spice. I understand that was a big thing in New York.
Apparently, I don't know, in the last 10 years or so, they started producing nutmegs on, I believe, that while we are complaining that we have 500,000 pounds of nutmeg sitting in bush, that the Jamaicans are actually producing a significant nutmeg crop. But that is something that you would expect that our minister or various ministers of agriculture would have addressed.
Ministers. Come on, get it right, Bierzynski.
Ministers.
Yes.
Yeah, you clearly are very much in tune with youth culture, with the AZ.
Yeah, man. Pele Darbo says, I'm fine, Alan. Enjoying you with your cynicism. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Bierzynski.
Tell him it only gets better because I wait until after 12 o'clock to start the spirituousness.
Tell him yourself. He's listening to you right now.
Really, I have to wait until after 12 to start the spirituousness.
John Bruno says, what we have is a clash of cultures. European and African cultures. So I guess the European one is pure Grenada and the African one is damnation. I'm just being facetious here. Margaret says,
Okay, well, hold on. I would like somebody to explain to me why all through the developing world that people of darker complexion are bleaching their skin. What are they trying to do now?
okay, yeah, that's a big thing that's happening. I haven't seen it happening here, but I know it's happening, especially in the United States. Margaret says, quite right, Alan.
Hello, it's happening in Nigeria, of all places.
Well, there you go. She says, you have to simultaneously promote cleaning up after and not on the beach. Year after year, you hear this complaint, right after Juve. Everybody.
Yeah, and then it is the non-residents who organize the big cleanup exercises.
Yeah.
And fill dozens of large garbage bags with the stuff that has been discarded.
Yeah.
And the other sad truth is that a lot of these people who come to play jab are not from here. They don't live here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they come to have a fine time because you see, when they try to organize anything up in where they come from, they generally end up with fight and bottle and piece of wood pelting because it's a set of stupid man they have up there.
Have you
coming in fet, but it's stupid man. They want to spoil fet.
Have you noticed?
Ask Pele. I sure Pele know the truth.
Pele, have you noticed how much the medical students enjoy the jab?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I would suspect that many of them have no idea what it is that they're doing, or because they have been engaged in spirituousness for some time prior to Juve.
Oh boy, it's official. That word spirituousness has been coined this morning. Donna Joseph says, Mr. B, have a few bleachers too, with black knuckles and ankle bones looking like leopards.
What?
Donna, I think you stunned them this morning. I think you really stunned them. She says, is stupid man way does fight in fit? Okay, I guess she meant, is stupid man what is
No, stupid. You have to pronounce it properly. Stupid man does fight.
Okay, Donna, it's stupid man way what is fight
Does fight
in
in
fit?
Yeah, and you have to get the rhythm, George. Get the rhythm.
And she's saying in
Stupid
Malava,
man does fight in fit.
in Malava man voice. Pele says, yes, Alan, you're in touch with Ahsoka. Stupid man.
Ah, boy.
Okay, Mr. B, I got you for 31 minutes, and I'm honored. Thank you very much, sir. As
Okay,
usual,
enjoy the day.
you stimulated these people. And so far, I think you and Margaret are still on good terms. So take it easy, Amy.
Okay, bye.
All right, there he goes, Mr. Allan Bierzynski on this Thursday morning. Pretty nice looking Thursday morning out there. I'm looking forward to taking my little Hoosits and going downtown and capturing some stuff for you guys on Sunday morning. Let's see what else is here. Kipling Francis says, so that's why Minister Modeste asked Grenadians to teach the visitors to wine. I didn't see that one, Kipling. Huh? She did? Boy, it is so much fun when you watch some of these folks from North America trying to teach visitors, not trying to teach, but trying to wine. Yeah. Ryan says, how can one enjoy Jab Jab? It's Diablo, the devil we're celebrating. All right, Ryan, I think you're going to pinch a couple of nerves with that one, but I understand where you're coming from. Okay, so that's going to do it, pilgrims. Let me now take another little break here, and we'll come on back with the National Report. That'll give you guys something else to talk about, right? Hang in there.
A natural disaster can change your life in minutes. Preparation is the best protection for your family and business. Prepare now. Create a disaster plan and make sure everyone knows what to do. Store water, non-perishable food, and medication. Remember basic emergency supplies such as batteries and flashlights. Trim overhanging trees. If trees near power lines are unsafe to trim, call Grenlec at 237 for assistance or advice. Install surge protectors to safeguard your electrical devices against outages and intermittent surges. For more information, visit grenlec.com.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Alrighty, folks, we've now been joined by Chester Simon, and he says it's too hot over here. And Chester is in Zurich, Switzerland. Pilgrims, here comes your National Report.
Citizenship by Investment program highlighted yet again, this time for its contribution to construction of the Kiwana Bay Resort in Montrouge. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Wednesday, June 26th, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. The developers of the $88 million Kiwana Bay Resort in the south of the island have hailed Grenada's Citizenship by Investment program for its contribution towards making construction of the hotel a reality. The hotel is scheduled to be opened in December 2020, a date chosen to factor in expansion of the project from that which was originally planned. When the project was first announced in January 2017, it was envisaged that 29 rooms will be renovated and 72 new rooms plus 45 suites will be constructed. But the project has evolved into a larger undertaking, the renovation of 21 rooms, construction of 160 rooms and 39 suites.
I'd like to commend the government for their leadership with the CBI program, and without question they've developed Grenada's CBI program into the leading one in the entire Caribbean, which has really been the mechanism that's enabled a tremendous amount of funding. The project is well capitalized, and that's evidenced by the fact that we're one of only 2 projects being approved to sell at the $220 price point. The project is very far along in the construction. We've spent a tremendous amount of money just designing it, working with the brands, bringing this project to fruition. As you'll see in the media kits, the project is being upsized from what it was originally conceived. When the market studies were done, it felt that Grenada, there's such a shortage that a hotel could be created of this magnitude.
That's project principal Warren Newfield. Direct revenue generated for government by the Kimpton Kiwana Bay project to date is in excess of 12 million EC dollars, while direct economic activity generated by the project to date is in excess of 80 million EC dollars. Once all phases are opened, more than 320 jobs will be created, and a further 880 indirect jobs are expected to be created based on the established industry number multiplier in the Caribbean for indirect job creation of 2.75. At peak construction, it is expected that over 250 construction jobs will be created. No date has yet been set for the handing down of the award following a one-week arbitration hearing between the Government of Grenada and WRB and GPP, Grenlec's 50% shareholder, which took place last week in Washington, D.C. The arbitration concerned WRB and GPP's repurchase demand for their Grenlec shares. Minister for Infrastructure Development, Public Utilities, Energy, Transport and Implementation, the Honourable Gregory Bowen, attended on behalf of the government and was the main witness, together with Mr. Chester Palmer and Mr. John O'Geist at the hearing. The team was accompanied by Sir Lawrence Joseph, former Attorney General and consultant to the Government of Grenada. Valuation experts from PricewaterhouseCoopers and the Brattle Group also appeared on behalf of the government. The semi-final component of the Junior Calypso competition is being reintroduced for Spice Mass 2019 after being absent for a few years. Culture Minister Senator Nolan Cox says this has become necessary to put a cap on the number of junior calypsonians to enable the organizers to produce a quality event for Children's Carnival Frolic on August 3rd.
For some time in the past, we didn't have any semi-finals for Junior Calypso, so we're bringing back semi-finals for Junior Calypso artists, and that is going to take place in Simone, not Progress Park, going forward, commencing from 2019. So on Friday, the 26th, I believe, we're going to have the groovy semis, and then we're going to have soca semis, and then on the Saturday, which is the 27th, we're going to have the Junior Calypso, and then on Sunday we have the Calypso semis. So that weekend will be semi-final events at Progress Park in St. Andrews.
Senator Cox added that the Junior Calypso final will once again take place at the Children's Carnival Frolic. Pan Expressions is another aspect of Spice Mass events that will see a change in 2019. It will be held on July 7th at the Tantine Netball Complex.
We are working together with them to put on a Pan Expression together with Soca. So it's Pan Expression and Soca on July 7th at Carnival City. That will be taking place with all the bands coming out to play their bomb tune, the steel pans, and also we have soca quarterfinals taking place on that same night. So it's going to be a great night, so we expect persons to come out and support.
Also in 2019 and going forward, 2 veteran Calypsonians will be recognized during the Calypso final on Carnival Sunday night. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The house was shaking. Then started the story here, babe. Crack, and the roof had gone.
Man, I was so scared, I nearly wet myself.
Only those who have lived it can truly understand the devastating fury of a hurricane's wind.
The house across the road just get up and roll over.
Hurricane force wind. It's a hazard. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. You can hurricane-proof your home. For example, make your roof more wind-resistant by using screws instead of nails in its construction. Find out more about hurricane force winds and other hazards at your local disaster office.
A message from the National Disaster Management Agency and SEDERA.
Continuing the news, the importance of the fishing industry to the growth of Grenada's economy will be highlighted this weekend when fisherfolk on the mainland and the Sister Isles come together for the annual Fisherman's Birthday celebrations. Organizers of Fisherman's Birthday celebrations on the Sister Isles say they want to ensure this year's festival is like none other. The organizing committee has been meeting every weekend to ensure the celebrations surpass expectations on Saturday, June 29th. Junior MacDonald, Fisheries Officer in the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs, speaks of plans to stage the celebrations in Carriacou on June 29th and in Petite Martinique the following day.
It is unique that we have the celebration both north and south, and the community of Windward, which is one of our major fishing community, is where the celebration will be held this year. Of course, the celebration begins at 7:30 in the AM with the blessing. The minister also make her presentation and declare the celebration open. And this year we want to award 3 senior fishers for their outstanding contribution to the fishing sector. In the community of Petite Martinique, on Sunday the 30th, their celebration will be held. Of course, the same format is used in Petite Martinique, in which the celebration is handled by the fishers in Madame Pierre 1 year, and where we call down the road the following year. So this year the celebration will be held down the road in Petite Martinique, and it will be held on Sunday the 30th, so that the fishers from Petite Martinique can come and join the fishers in Carriacou to ensure the celebration is successful.
The Special Victims Unit of the Royal Grenada Police Force has partnered with the Ministry of Social Development and Republic Bank to highlight the need for more to be done to stamp out domestic violence. The message took the form of a domestic violence march on Sunday under the theme Walk in My Shoes, with 1,070 reported cases in 2018, of which 689 were committed by males and 381 by females. The Special Victims Unit used the initiative as an opportunity to raise awareness. Assistant Commissioner of Police Chessman Prince says the RGPF will ensure the issue is not swept under the rug.
This initiative is both reactive and proactive at the same time. And this is so because it speaks to the support of the Royal Grenada Police Force strategic objective of a safer community. When we say reactive because the effects of domestic violence has affected us tremendously as a nation. It is happening and we cannot doubt it, we cannot deny it, we have to address it. So what you're doing this evening is also reactive, but it's also proactive because we are letting the perpetrators know that we are united against the scourge of domestic violence that is happening within our communities. This is an opportunity for us to let the world know, to let our voices be heard and our presence be felt. Let us speak loudly. Let us speak with the same voice. Enough is enough. Down with domestic violence. Done with sexual offenses, done with offenses against women and children.
The walk began at the National Stadium car park and ended at the Montrouge playing field. Officer in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department, Superintendent Earl Dunbar, encouraged victims to speak out.
The leading cause of injury to women is domestic violence. Domestic violence is the leading cause of injury to women. And it continues to strive in silence and in the darkest corner of our society. However, sadly to say that oftentimes this domestic violence or gender-based violence usually happen within the homes and families. And you know for a fact that the homes is one that where one should feel safe and secure. As a result of this occurrence, we have underreporting. Persons are afraid to report due to the fact of fear, empathy, love, embarrassment, among others. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we must take a stand. We must fight. We must speak out. We cannot allow domestic violence to continue. We must say enough is enough. And therefore, I would want all and sundry to speak out. Let us support the programs to fight domestic violence.
And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Alrighty, folks, that's going to take care of last night's edition of the National Report. And that's going to take us as well to the end of today's edition of Gudday Grenada. Before I go, though, I just want to digress a little bit here. Earlier on, there was a comment from when we were talking about the jab with Ryan, with Allan. Ryan made a comment and says, how can one enjoy jab? It's Diablo, the devil we're celebrating. Okay? Well, Margaret took him up on that, and she says here, actually, Ryan, that is incorrect. While the word does translate into devil, it really means massa that they're referring to. The use of metaphor was frequently employed so that slave masters would not, I guess she meant would not know that they were being ridiculed. She goes on to say the same is true for Negro spirituals. They contain messages for slaves escaping slavery. We need to tell our own story and stop letting others tell it for us. So says Margaret in response to Ryan. Let's see here. That's going to pull the curtain down. Now, parting word from the Holy Scriptures. I'm using 4 monitors here. 1, 2, 3, 4 monitors here this morning. Today's parting word comes to you from the book of Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 13, verses 1 to 6. And it says, I quote, "Keep on loving one another as brothers and sisters. Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by so doing, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. Continue to remember those in prison, as if you were together with them in prison, and those who are mistreated, as if you yourselves were suffering. Marriage should be honored by all, and the marriage bed kept pure. For God will judge the adulterer and all the sexually immoral. Keep your lives free from the love of money, and be content with what you have, because God has said, 'Never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you.' So we say with confidence, 'The Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid.'" Hebrews chapter 13, verses 1 to 6. On that note, pilgrims, Georgie Porgy's going to hightail it out of here, go do a little running around, and by God's grace, let's get together again tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, for the next edition of Gudday Grenada.